Don't buy a Toyota Camry. And this is why. This is just Gasket Maker because whenever I put the manifold on, it will not seal properly. Not sure why, but whatever. I don't really care too much about. I mean, you can see how it's not sealing right here. Gas is getting out right there. But I don't care too much about this car because I literally just want this thing to last me maybe a year longer. Didn't plan on buying this car either. I had to buy this car because tractor trailer decided to drive right into me and tore up all this fender, and just this little bit totaled my car. So rather than dealing with fixing that and get it back on the road and all that, I just bought another car. Thought I got a good deal on it. Bought it for $1,800. Turned out the guy that sold it to me ripped me off big time, and I'm kicking myself in the butt for buying it, but it is what it is. I knew it needed work, and obviously I can do the work, but when I bought the car, I knew that the owner, so the car, the body itself has 200 and some odd thousand miles on it, which I don't care, but the owner that sold it to me said that he changed the transmission and engine. There were so many hidden little things that I didn't realize that were an issue until I got the car, started working on it, and then more issues popped up. Honestly, I thought I was going to be able to fix the car for maybe $500 or $600, but I've spent way more than that. Now, part of the reason why I've spent so much money is because of the while you're in here sort of thing. Is while you're in here, why don't we replace this and this and this and this and this? And there's a lot of stuff that I replaced. Some of the things I still need to replace are the motor mounts, which are, this top one is completely cracked and just done. And didn't know this until later. The axle shafts need to be replaced because the car shakes at about 50, 55, up to 75. It seems to smooth out around 80. Not that I drive at 80 normally. I don't. I was just driving it up there to see if it would smooth out at that point, which it does kind of. But yeah, the shake can be really bad and the shake can be really not that bad. So I'm pretty sure it is the axle shafts because I've eliminated just about every other thing it could be, other than the motor mounts. The motor mounts could be an issue as well. So those things need to be replaced, and that's where I'm at with that. I've probably spent well over $1,000 so far on it. The reason why I spent well over $1,000 on it is because one of the problems is between the years of, I think it's 2001 and 2001 and 2007. I believe 2008 is when they fixed it. They may have fixed the issue in 2007. I don't remember exactly. But Toyota Camrys, they're 2AZFE engines. That's the engine code. Well, model code, whatever you want to call it. The back, you can't see them because, I mean, we're looking at the valve cover. Between the years of 2000, I believe, 2001 and 06, because these three head bolts tend to come loose because of sound deadener that's underneath the intake / heat shield that heats up the block more, and these end up getting loose, backing out slightly, and then eventually will rip the threads out. Luckily mine didn't rip the threads out, they just backed out. So I gotta worry about cleaning this up, putting some red Loctite on the new head bolts. These are the old ones, and torquing them down, and that should be it. Between, I think it was like 65,000 miles and 100,000 miles, those bolts would start to back out on their own, and then they would strip the threads out of the block, and the head gasket would blow because there would be no pressure holding it down and all that. I got lucky where my threads were not stripped out, but I still had to replace the head gasket and deal with all of that. I ended up getting longer head bolts because my threads were definitely pulled or stretched, but they weren't stripped out. So there's still a little bit of thread that is not ever used for some reason within the block. So I just got longer head bolts that utilized the old thread as well as the new thread, and it is holding. Now, that's not even the only problem with this car, but that's the major issue that you should not buy this car for that reason. From start to finish, I want to say it probably took myself and a friend of mine 2 8-hour days and then a 4-hour day, or even a 6-hour day. It's just a whole lot of bunch of little things, and that's not including like the time I had to wait for getting the head resurfaced. Now, again, along the lines of I don't care about this car, after putting the head back on and the head gasket, there's no oil mixing with the coolant, but oil is leaking out from the outside of it's leaking out the edge to the outside of the block, all over like the exhaust side and the back of the engine, and it's causing me to put in about a quart of oil every time I get gas, which is a lot, but you do get about 500 miles to the tank, so it's just, I don't want to deal with it. But to fix that issue without taking the head off again and then probably having to remove the entire block to get the block resurfaced, which is probably what the issue is. The block's not 100% level. Even though I used a flat bar to check the surface, it looked perfectly flat when I looked at it. So I'm still baffled. I don't know. But in order to get around removing the head, I'm doing something that is not correct. But since the oil and the coolant are not mixing, I don't care too much. I just want this thing to last another year, because within a year I plan on getting an Audi S5, an older one, like 2012 at the newest, because I want the 4.2 liter naturally aspirated V8, not the twin turbo. Even though the twin turbo makes more power, I'd rather get the 4.2 because it's proven reliable. So I'd rather have that. But here, I'm going to show you exactly what I've been doing. So this looks really bad and stupid and whatnot, but this I didn't actually need to do. But there's oil leaking out from right here, I'm pretty sure, and that's still kind of soft, because there's a little port right here that for some reason there's a port on the block or on the head, but there's no port on the block, so that no oil travels through. It just travels right there. But there's oil leaking out from around this area and on the side. That was the radiator cap around the side too. So I've put this gasket sealer here. I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'm gonna put another coat in there to help stop the oil from leaking more. That also is pretty much the reason why I have been missing for 2 months or so now, and yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I got hit in this car, and then I had to buy another car, and then I had to do a ton of freaking work on it. So anyways, that's an update with what's going on with me. I've also been sick for the past 2-ish weeks, so I haven't been able to get back out in the garage and do some work and stuff. Feeling better. I'm feeling the best I have in a while today, and that's why I'm out here filming this. But yeah, that's where I've been, and just to let you know, the next video will be on my 240. If you lasted this long throughout the entire video, good for you. It's a long video, and it's I'm sure it was kind of boring because I didn't really have anything to show you. So if you want to see cool videos on this and not videos on this, be a boss and hit that subscribe button. You don't have to like this video. This is just an update video, and share some of my other videos with your friends. But I'll be sure to see you on the next one working on this car. Thank you guys. Bye.